The stars looked peaceful that night. Above the dark sky of Earth, millions of stars blinked like they always did. But deep beyond the planet Neptune, something had changed. Something was watching. At 2:17 a.m., an old space telescope named Sentinel-9 picked up a strange object near the edge of the solar system. It was not moving fast. It was just there, floating silently in space. No lights, no sound, no signal. Inside the Global Space Command Center in Geneva, alarms began to ring. Commander Reina Torres stared at the blinking red dot on her screen. "That's not a meteor," she said quietly. "No, ma'am," her officer replied. "It's too controlled, too still." She narrowed her eyes. "Get me visuals." 30 seconds later, a blurry image appeared on the big screen. It showed a massive, dark, shape like a giant insect made of black metal. Its body was long and sharp, with strange curves and edges. The object had no engines, no signs of life, no known design. "It's just ... watching," someone whispered. Reina stood up. "Send the scout ship Orion." Now, the Orion was Earth's fastest recon ship, with the best pilots and scanners. It launched within the hour, headed straight toward the object near Neptune. The world didn't know. News channels kept talking about the weather and sports. But in the skies, humanity had already made first contact and didn't even know it yet. 12 hours later, the Orion reached the object. "Orion to command," Captain Singh spoke. "We are at visual range. It's huge, bigger than we thought. It'd be 2 kilometers long." "What is it doing?" asked Reina from Geneva. "It's just floating, not responding to our pings." Scanning now, the transmission cut. A few seconds of silence, then nothing. No message, no distress signal. The Orion was gone. Across the command center, fear spread like fire. They tried again. No response. Reina stood frozen. Her hands shook slightly. She had seen many space threats before: rogue, AI satellites, asteroid storms, pirate ships. But this was different. "This isn't a threat," she said slowly. "It's a test." The government leaders were informed. Meetings were held behind closed doors. Still, the public was kept in the dark. On day 3, the object began to move. It turned slowly, gently facing Earth. Then it stopped again. That's when the signal came. Not a voice, not a picture. It's just a single message, transmitted on every satellite, every radio, every military channel. "Day 1 begins now." The message repeated every 5 minutes. No one could block it, no one could trace it. It was being sent from deep space. But also, from somewhere near the moon, panic began. Online. Theories exploded. Was it a prank? A glitch? A new form of alien AI? But Reina knew better. "The Orion is gone," she told the UN Council. "We must treat this as hostile." "But they haven't attacked," one politician said. "They didn't need to. Our best ship, it disappeared." That's a message. Still, no alien ship came closer. No weapons were fired. No city was destroyed. Yet people across Earth felt it a strange pressure. It's like being watched. On day 5, strange things began to happen. Telescope systems across the world showed something terrifying. Stars were missing. Tiny points of light in space, suddenly gone, not blocked. Not hidden, gone. And only in the direction where the alien object faced. A young scientist in Chile named Dr. Emil Ruiz was the first to notice. He compared star maps from just a week ago to now. "There are gaps," he whispered. "The sky is changing." He sent his findings to Space Command. Within hours, he was silenced. No interviews. No videos. His lab was locked because if the stars were being erased or eaten, it meant this visitor wasn't just watching, it was preparing. Back in Geneva, Commander Reina received a final report. It was from a small drone that had been sent secretly. Near the object, the drone was destroyed, but before that, it sent one image. Reina stared at it. The alien ship's surface had changed. There were now symbols written in strange, glowing letters. They weren't in any known language, but the AI translation system found something terrifying. One word repeated over and over. Choose. Raina's heart sank. This isn't just contact, she whispered. It's selection. At somewhere, in the cold silence of space, the alien ship waited for what? No one knew, but day one had started, and it was already too late to stop it. The sky was the same, or so people thought. After the message, day one begins now, the world waited for fire, war, or death. But nothing happened. No ships landed, no bombs fell, no cities burned. Instead, the world kept turning. Planes flew, cars moved. People worked, hoping it was all a mistake. But the silence was worse than war. In the deserts of Arizona, an old astronomer named Ben Wallace sat at his telescope, drinking black coffee. He looked up every night. Now for 40 years the stars had always greeted him like friends. But tonight, something was wrong. He stared through his lens and frowned. Orion's belt was missing a star. He whispered, adjusting the focus. He checked again. Second star was also gone. This empty blackness. Where it used to shine, Ben pulled out last month's map, compared, checked again. They're gone, he whispered, just ... gone. He turned on the news. Nobody was talking about it. The sky wasn't burning. It was changing. In Tokyo, a girl named Aiko walked through a park with her mother. The night was calm, the air cool. As they reached the lake, she saw something standing. Near the water, Mom. Look, she said. It was tall, thin, black, like a long stick with a floating orb on top. It had no arms, no legs, no face. It didn't move, just stood there, staring at the sky. People gathered. Phones came out. Pictures were taken. The object didn't respond. It didn't speak. It was cold and silent. One brave man stepped forward and touched it. Nothing happened. Then a child, just 7 years old, walked too close. She looked up at the strange orb and smiled. The orb blinked red, and in a flash of blue light she was gone. No scream, no sound, just gone. That same night, reports came from cities all over Earth. A black pillar appeared in London. Floating sphere hovered in Lagos. A glowing disk sat silently in Buenos Aires. And in New York, one probe followed a man for 3 hours, never touching him. Across the globe, people gave these objects a name. The Watchers. The Watchers. Didn't speak. Didn't move. Didn't harm unless someone got too close. And those who vanished never came back. Inside the UN Space Command, Commander Reina stood before a dozen screens. Each one showed a different city, a different watcher. This is not an invasion. She said it's a study. Dr. Karim, her lead scientist, nodded slowly. They're scanning us. Not just our weapons or machines. But our behavior, you mean? We're being tested? No, he replied. We're being measured.
Right.
In a small underground lab in Switzerland, a young engineer named Lee Tran was studying a damaged watcher. It had been hit by a car in Berlin. The government took it quickly. Now Lee and her team worked around the clock. She scanned its outer shell. It was made from a metal not on Earth's periodic table. Completely alien, she whispered. It repairs itself, like it's alive. And she found something strange hidden inside its core. A lens? A camera? No, not a camera. It was looking back at her. She felt her chest tighten. The room grew cold. It's not just a machine. She whispered, it's an eye that didn't just record, it understood. By day 8, the people of Earth were scared to go outside. Some worshipped the Watchers. Some attacked them with fire and guns. It didn't matter. The Watchers never fought back, never spoke. They just watched. In Cairo, a young boy screamed at one. Leave us alone, he shouted, throwing a stone. The Watcher turned slightly. Then it played back the boy's voice. The exact same words, but in a different voice. An older, deeper voice. One the boy had never heard before. It was his own. From the future, back in Geneva, Reina met with her top staff. They're not studying us, she said. They're studying what we could become. Dr. Karim tapped on his tablet. Commander, I found something buried deep in the signal they sent. Right behind the words Day 1 begins now. There was a second layer of sound, hidden in static. Slowed down, reversed, and filtered. A new message appeared. It said, "Your path will decide what wakes." Raina felt her blood go cold. "They're not warning us," she said. "They're watching to see if we will wake something up." In the forests of Siberia, far from cities and lights, one final event took place. A watcher landed quietly on snow. It opened, not with machines, but with light. Inside, there was no engine, no weapon, just a chair, a single seat, shaped perfectly for a human. People had waited long enough. After 10 days of silence, fear turned into anger. The watchers stood in every major city tall, dark and still. They never attacked, but they never left. And the people of Earth were tired of waiting. The missing child in Tokyo, the vanishing stars, the machine that played voices from the future. It was too much. Earth had rules. Earth had armies. Earth had fire, and now it was ready to use them. In Washington, D.C., the Global Defense Council met in an emergency session. The room was tense. Commander Raina stood at the center table. "We are being tested," she said again. "Measured. They're waiting for something." General from Russia slammed his hand on the table. "And let them see our answer. We do not bow to silent threats." Others nodded. China, India, the United States, the European Union, they all agreed. No more waiting. No more fear. If this was a test, humanity would respond in the only language it truly trusted: force. The operation was called Storm Strike Targets. All watchers across Earth. Time, 6 o'clock GMT. Weapons, lasers. EMP blasts, railguns. And orbital missiles. Orders, destroy all probes. Show no mercy. As the sun rose, Earth's armies prepared. In London, tanks rolled through the streets toward the watcher near Big Ben. In Seoul, drones hovered above a watcher in the market. In Nairobi, a squad of soldiers aimed rockets at the quiet black shape near the river. Raina watched from Geneva, her fists tight. She hated this, but the council had voted. "This is a mistake," whispered Dr. Karim beside her. "Maybe," Raina said, "but now it's too late." At exactly 6 o'clock GMT, the world lit up. Lasers fired. Rockets screamed. Drones dove. Satellites dropped kinetic rods from space. The attacks hit almost every watcher at the same time. Explosions filled city skies. Some watchers cracked and crumbled. Others turned to ash. In many places, cheers broke out. People clapped, shouted, celebrated. For a moment, it looked like Earth had won. But then, the sky changed. Over Africa, clouds disappeared in a single flash. The air above Egypt shimmered like glass, and a strange shape appeared, not a ship, not a machine, but something alive. It looked like a floating skeleton made of stars, with 1,000 eyes burning across its surface. It made no sound in orbit. Above Earth, a defense satellite picked up something moving fast. Too fast? An object shot toward Earth at impossible speed. It hit the Pacific Ocean, not with fire, but with silence. In the next hour, Earth's best warship, the UNS Dauntless, was sent to investigate. The ship carried 300 crew, 10 nukes, and the most advanced AI Earth had built. It approached the object. Captain Mallory spoke into the com. "We are scanning the alien presence now, preparing to launch probe." Raina listened from Geneva. "Proceed. Dauntless. Target locked." Launching silence, the screen went black. All comms were lost. The Dauntless was gone. 5 seconds. That's all it took. No warning, no light, no explosion. One moment it existed, the next it didn't. Panic hit the council. What happened? A leader shouted, "Was it an attack? Did they fire a weapon?" "No," said Dr. Karim. "They didn't fire anything. They just watched." And the ship vanished. Teleportation? Annihilation? No, Kareem whispered. Judgment. In the ruins of a watcher in Brazil, soldiers found something strange. Inside the broken probe was a tiny device, like a heart made of crystal. Still beating, one soldier touched it. Suddenly he fell to the ground, screaming. His body shook. His eyes turned black, and then, just as suddenly, he stood up, calm, quiet. I saw it, he said in a strange voice. I saw what they fear. Others stared at him. What did you see? He looked at the sky. Us, all across Earth. Something changed. The watchers that had survived the attacks began to hum. A low, deep sound filled the air, like a warning. Then one by one, they powered down. No more blinking lights, no more strange sounds, just silence. And then they disappeared. Not in smoke or light. They simply faded from sight, as if they were never there. Reina stood before the council that night. We attacked them, she said. They didn't strike back, but they left. Is it over? Someone asked. No, Reina said. It's just beginning. Dr. Kareem stood beside her. We have new data, he said. The probes were not here to destroy. They were part of something larger. He held up a map. This signal started as a circle around Earth, but now, spreading. The circle had grown. It now reached the edge of the solar system and beyond. Somewhere in deep space, far beyond human eyes, a second alien ship opened its eyes. It did not speak. It did not move. It only listened, and far away thousands of other civilizations heard the same signal Earth had received. Day 1 begins now. The war never began. But something had changed. The Watchers were gone. The alien ship near Neptune still waited. And Earth had lost its best warship, the Dauntless, without a trace. People thought it was over. They were wrong. The real danger was only beginning. And the first to see it was not a soldier, but a girl with a keyboard. Her name was Lena Vega, a 19-year-old hacker living in the dark corners of the internet. She wasn't famous, she wasn't rich, but she was curious. Too curious. She had a habit of breaking into places she wasn't supposed to be. Military servers, deep space comlinks, spy satellites. To her it was just a game. But this time, she found something that wasn't a game. It started as static. A weird sound recorded by a space probe 2 days after the Dauntless vanished. The file had no sender name, no ID, just numbers and noise. Most people ignored it, but Lena didn't. She downloaded it and ran it through her homemade sound tools. At first, it was just white noise, like wind in a tunnel. But then, deep in the static, something moved. A pattern, a rhythm, a voice. Lena worked all night, filtering, slowing, reversing, boosting. She felt goosebumps as a voice began to form inside the signal. It was human, weak, distorted, but definitely human. She played the cleaned up version on her speakers. The message lasted only 6 seconds. They're not attacking. They are choosing. Lena stared at her screen. Choosing what? She whispered. She checked the signal source. It wasn't from Earth. It was sent from near Neptune, the last location of the Dauntless. Lena needed to report it to the government. She knew how that ended instead. Instead, she leaked it anonymously online. Within minutes, it went viral. The world was shaken. Was this the last message from the Dauntless? Final warning? A clue? The media asked questions, but the government stayed silent. Behind the scenes, the Global Defense Council called it false audio. But Commander Reina knew better. She ordered a classified investigation. Dr. Kareem listened to the signal 20 times. He stood silently in his lab, eyes fixed on the waveform. It's real, he finally said. That's Captain Mallory's voice. Reina nodded slowly. He said they're choosing. Choosing what? Kareem didn't answer right away. Instead, he played the signal backwards, something Lena hadn't tried. This time a second voice appeared. Not human. It spoke in a strange, broken pattern. But the AI translator gave its best guess. We fear what you buried. We fear what you forget. Raina's heart dropped. What did we bury? She asked. Kareem looked at her, eyes wide. I don't think they came to study us, he said. I think they came to see if it is still inside us. Lena, still digging, broke through another hidden layer of the signal. This one wasn't sound. It was data, encrypted, complex, alive. Her laptop crashed twice trying to open it, but on her third try, she saw something strange. A map, a star map. At the center was Earth. Surrounding it were curved lines, like ripples. Each ripple had dots, thousands of them. Lena zoomed in. Each had a name, a code, a status. Most said, dead. Some said, sleeping. Only one said, unknown. That one was Earth. Lena's hand shook. This isn't a map, she said. It's a quarantine. Meanwhile, something strange happened in Antarctica. A deep ice lab called Station Echo sent a strange message to Geneva. A researcher had collapsed. His name was Dr. Ellis. He'd been studying ancient ice, core samples from thousands of years ago. But now he was awake, standing, and speaking in a language no one knew. His eyes glowed faintly. Raina flew to the station. She found Dr. Ellis standing outside, barefoot in the snow, arms raised to the sky. When he saw her, he smiled. I remember now, he said. Remember what? She asked. He pointed to the stars. The first war. Raina froze. What war? The war before memory, Ellis whispered. The one we were never meant to remember. At the same moment, Lena received a final message from the signal. It had no voice. Just text, 3 simple lines. The Watchers were not the threat. The Watchers were the lock. Now the door is open. Raina stared at the sky that night. No new ships. No new threats. Just stars. But now, she wasn't sure if they were stars at all. What if they were eyes, watching, waiting, afraid? The sky was still. The stars were silent, deep below the ice of Antarctica. Something had woken up. Commander Raina stood inside Station Echo wearing a heavy coat as freezing wind howled outside. Snow blew past the windows like dust in the dark. She stared at Dr. Ellis. He stood barefoot in the cold, calm like he didn't feel it at all. His skin was pale. His eyes glowed faint blue. His voice was not the same as before. You are not Dr. Ellis anymore, are you? Raina asked. I was him, the man replied softly. But I am also older, much older. Kareem stood beside. Raina, speechless. What are you? He finally asked. The man smiled faintly. I am what you locked away, inside your kind. Raina's hand moved toward her sidearm, but the man raised a hand. No need for fear, he said. I'm not your enemy. I am your mirror. The strange man, whatever he was brought inside and placed under watch. Doctors scanned him. His body was human. No changes to blood or DNA, but something in his brain was different, awake, glowing like a second consciousness. I remember everything, he said. Before Earth, before history, before the first stars died. Raina listened carefully. Explain? The man looked at her with ancient, sad eyes. Humans were not born weak, he said. You were once the most feared race in the galaxy. Thousands of years ago, before human memory, there was a war. A war so terrible that stars were burned, planets erased, and entire civilizations destroyed. And it was started by humans. But not like the humans today. These were early ones, ancient. Powerful, brutal. They didn't build for peace. They conquered. They ruled, and nothing could stop them. They had no mercy, the man said. No fear, no limits. But in the end, something changed. Some humans saw what they had become and chose to bury that power deep inside themselves. They wiped their own memory, sealed away their true nature. They became you, the man whispered. Peaceful, curious, kind. But the galaxy never forgot. The stars feared the return of the old humans. And now, the Watchers had come to see if that monster was still sleeping, or if it was waking up again. Kareem stepped back. "You're saying we're the real threat?" Man nodded. "Not your weapons, not your ships, not your minds, but your history." He looked up toward the ceiling, as if seeing something far away. "The Watchers were not here to invade," he said. "They were watching to see if the memory would return, and now it has." At the same time, across the galaxy, hidden sensors began to activate, inside ancient temples, beneath broken moons. In the black ruins of dead worlds, alien races that once ruled long ago opened their eyes in fear. One word was being whispered in every star language: humanity. Back on Earth, Lena Vega was still online, decoding the alien map. She stared at the single word next to Earth's name: unknown. She zoomed in again and noticed a new line of text appear under it. "Memory fragment detected." "What does that mean?" she whispered. She looked up at her ceiling as if the stars could hear her. "What did we forget?" That night, Reyna met with the UN Defense Council. "This is bigger than we thought," she said. "The Watchers didn't attack because they weren't here to fight. They were here to judge." One leader asked, "Judge what?" "Our nature," Reyna said. "To see if the ancient human instincts were still alive." The room went quiet. Then Kareem spoke. "And now that we attacked, we failed the test." Back in Antarctica, the strange man, Dr. Ellis, or whatever he had become, stood by the frozen window. Outside, the wind had stopped. The stars were brighter. He placed a hand on the glass. "They will come now," he said softly. "Not to test, not to watch, but to act." Reyna walked up behind him. "Who will come?" The man didn't look at her. He just whispered, "The ones who survived the first time." Across the galaxy, on a distant planet made of black stone, a long-dead warning system blinked red. A voice echoed in the darkness. "The old blood is waking. Earth has remembered. Prepare for extinction or surrender." And back on Earth, in a quiet desert where no one looked. 8. Something began to rise from the Sandan ancient machine, older than Earth's first cities. It was human-made, but not made by humans today. It turned on and waited for orders, far from Earth. Across the stars, a meeting had begun, not in a palace, not in the open, but deep underground, on a cold and silent moon called Veltraxis, where no light reached and no sound escaped. This was the place where the galaxy's most powerful leaders met when they were truly afraid. And today, they had every reason to be. The High Council of the Bound Species sat around a black table made of stone older than time. There were 12 seats, all filled. The insectoid racks from the black swarms. It's a glowing mirror from the gas clouds of Naxa. The tree-like elders of Vore Prime and others. Each one stranger than the next, but all of them had one thing in common. They remembered. They remembered the first war, the war of fire, the war of humanity. An elder mirror floated forward and began to speak. "The signal has been confirmed," she said in a soft, ringing voice. "The Earth has begun to remember." Gasps filled the room. "No," hissed the Rack's leader. "It is too soon. They are too young, still primitive." "Yet they destroyed the Watchers," another alien replied. "And now the blood memory is waking. The old patterns return." Vore Elder moved its wooden limbs slowly. "If they fully awaken, nothing will stop them. Not again." Thousands of years ago, before Earth had writing or cities, the first humans had already reached the stars. They had no mercy. They had no kings. They only had will. They didn't just fight wars. They ended them. Entire species vanished. Civilizations turned to ash. The first humans had no gods because they feared nothing. And then they disappeared. Or so the galaxy thought. The truth was far worse. The ancient humans saw what they had become. They sealed their memories, broke their own machines, hid themselves on a young planet. They became soft, peaceful, curious, and the galaxy relaxed, but the fear never fully died. Every empire, every council, every military fleet in the galaxy was secretly built on one purpose: to prepare for the day that old humans returned. That day was now. The rack slammed a claw on the stone table. We must act, strike Earth, before they fully remember. And if we fail, ask the mirror. We tried once before. We sent fleets, we sent weapons, we sent gods. None returned. They were unprepared, the rack said. Now we know more. But so do the humans, the tree being said quietly. The council fell silent. Then a deep voice spoke from the shadows. It was the archivist, the only being who had survived direct contact with the first humans. His body was broken, one eye burned black. But his mind was sharp. I met them once, he said. I watched one man destroy a star with nothing but thought and memory. The council froze. No ship, no weapon, just will, the archivist said. And now you tell me they are remembering? You tell me the Watchers are gone? Then I will tell you this. He leaned forward. We are too late. Back on Earth, Lena Vega received another strange update from the alien map. Dozens of dots that had once said dead now changed to returning and in the sky. New objects appeared, faint, hidden, observing the stars. We're getting crowded, Edom. Command Reyna looked at the newest telescope data. We're being surrounded, she said. Kareem nodded. They're not attacking, not yet. They're watching again, not the Watchers. No, these are different. Older, more afraid. He turned to her. They think we're the threat. Reyna looked at the screen. A blinking red dot marked Earth, and around it, growing rings of alien fleets. They're not preparing for war, she whispered. They're preparing for defense. Somewhere in deep space, a war fleet of 3,000 ships built over 10,000 years began to move. Their target, Earth, their mission, containment or extinction, but still, none of them dared fire first. Because even now, even surrounded humanity, was the one thing no one in the galaxy truly understood. The fear was not of what humans had. The fear was not of what humans could build. The fear was of what humans were when fully awake. And in a small room, under the ruins of a forgotten human temple, something ancient stirred. A message began to glow on the wall, written in a dead language only the stars remembered. It said, "We are the storm you tried to bury. Storms do not forget." The stars were full now. Alien ships, silent and still, surrounded Earth from all sides. Some came from systems light years away. Some came from old, forgotten empires. All of them came for one reason: to watch, to wait, to decide if Earth should live. Inside Uncommand, alarms flashed, hundreds of unknown signals. No attacks, no messages, just presence. "We are being surrounded," Commander Reyna said. Dr. Kareem nodded. "They're forming a cage, like we're some kind of ... virus." Reyna looked at the main screen. Earth's blue glow stood at the center, like a trapped animal. "They're not here for war," she said. "They're here for a decision." Council called an emergency vote. Some nations wanted to surrender. Others wanted to launch every missile at the sky. Reyna remained calm. "Attacking won't save us, and surrendering won't change what we are." "What are we then?" one leader asked. She looked him in the eyes, awake. Damn. In a lab deep beneath the moon's surface, a secret had been hidden for centuries, built by ancient hands, not alien. Not modern, human. Lena Vega stood in front of it now. Her hacking had led her here. The map, the signals, the stars. Everything pointed to this place. A dark chamber, glowing core. A machine unlike anything Earth had ever made. But somehow, it felt familiar. The machine pulsed with slow light. It had no buttons, no screen, no weapons. Just a surface that looked like stone but hummed like thought. As Lena approached, her voice echoed in her mind. "You are the first. The first to awaken without fear." She stepped back. "Who said that? We are the weapon. We are memory. We are what they fear. Will you give the signal?" Lena didn't understand. "What signal?" "The one that tells the galaxy. We remember who we are." Back on Earth, Reyna received a message. It came through every channel, not encrypted, not hidden, Just 2 words. It's time. The sender was Lena, and attached was the code. Kareem ran the data through his system. His eyes widened. This isn't a weapon signal. It's a message. To the entire galaxy. What does it say? Reyna asked. Kareem stared at the words. We are awake now. Reyna paused, then nodded. Send it. Lena touched the surface of the ancient machine. It glowed brighter from deep within. Waves of strange energy began to pulse. Not destructive. Not violent, but loud. The signal burst from the moon like a shockwave. It spread fast, faster than light, across stars, across systems, across time. Every alien ship surrounding Earth received it. Every sensor, every mind, even those hidden in deep space, waiting, felt it. Across the galaxy. Ships powered down not from damage but from fear. An old fear, the kind that comes when a nightmare returns. On a quiet alien world. A child asked her mother, "Why are the stars shaking?" And her mother answered in a whisper, "Because they remember what the humans were." The Alien War Council on Veltraxis met one last time. The Rax general slammed its claws in rage. This cannot be. They sent no weapon, no fleet. The archivist replied, "They sent a memory." The mirror trembled. How can memory cause this much fear? The archivist looked at the others. Because it was never the weapons, he said. It was never their ships. It was the will of mankind. In ancient times, humans didn't win through strength alone. They won through something worse. They never gave up. They never feared pain. They never stopped coming. And that was the weapon the galaxy could never copy. On Earth, silence filled. The sky's alien fleets began to retreat. One by one, they turned and vanished into the black. No war. No blood, just distance. Reyna stood at the edge of the command center watching the stars clear. Kareem stepped beside her. "We didn't fire a single shot, no," she said. "We didn't have to." He smiled. "So, we won?" Reyna shook. Her head no. We remembered that was enough. Far, far away, in a system untouched for 1,000,000 years, broken alien god sat in ruins. It felt the signal, felt the fear, and it whispered to itself, "The mistake has returned. The humans are back." The skies were clear now. The alien fleets had vanished. The stars had stopped shaking. The watchers, the machines, and the silence were gone. But something stayed behind. The memory. Commander Reyna stood on a quiet hill outside Geneva above her. Earth's moon glowed peacefully. No lights, no weapons. Just white stone in the black. Sky, but deep beneath that moon, Lena Vega's message still echoed through the stars. We are awake now. The galaxy would never forget it. Across Earth, people slowly returned to life. They planted gardens again. They rebuilt schools. They laughed, even if quietly. But they were different now. Everyone knew it. They had seen fear on a cosmic scale. They had stood before alien gods, and they hadn't knelt. Lena was gone now. The signal was sent. She vanished. Some said she had become one with the ancient machine. Others believed she was taken by the same force that once erased stars. But a final message was left on her laptop sent to ROYNA. It said, "We were never just human. We were the lesson." In the far galaxies, fear spread like wildfire. Old species long thought extinct came out of hiding. War leaders rewrote their codes. Empires stopped expanding, all because of Earth. But not because Earth fired a weapon. It hadn't. Not one missile, not one bullet. And yet, hundreds of alien worlds added a new law to their history books. Do not speak to Earth. Do not. Test them. Do not wake them again. 1,000 light years away, in a council of scholars, a young alien asked, "But why do we fear them?" And the elder answered, "Because they remembered something we never had the strength to forget." Back on Earth, Dr. Kareem looked at the ancient machine buried beneath the moon. It was quiet now, but the code remained a living memory, a spark that could one day burn again. He added one last note to the UN database. The Day 1 event was not an attack. It was a question, and the galaxy now lives with the answer. Generations passed. The stars turned. New life rose. The legacy remained. Alien children would stare at the sky and ask their parents, "What is that blue planet?" And the answer was always the same. That is Earth. That is the planet that remembers. That is where Day 1 began. Because even in peace, humanity had changed everything. Not by force, not by domination, but by reminding the universe of what it once feared most: hope with teeth. In a museum on a distant world, sealed in crystal, sits a copy of Lena's message. It plays once every century. We are awake now. And every time it plays, the room falls silent. Because everyone knows, if it ever plays again, it will not be a warning. It will be a countdown. Back on Earth, Commander Reyna stood one last time in front of her screen. There were no alerts. No red lights, it's just quiet. And she smiled, because Earth didn't need to conquer the stars. It had already become part of them.